It's been a few months now. The entire world is gasping for air. One of the signs of being positively affected, or negatively affected, I should say, with a virus, testing positive with a virus, is the difficulty of breathing. We know that unfortunately those who are battling for their lives in the hospitals is because their lungs have been affected and they can't breathe. The world has a shortage of ventilators, saving those lives to be able to breathe. Interesting though, that while the armies, particularly the Israeli army, whose purpose, whose raison d'etre is to take out the air of its enemy, are the ones who are now producing ventilators. But again, as I just said, it's all about gasping for air. Those who are confined in homes are also gasping for air, waiting for an opportunity to go out and get some fresh air. The last few days, the States have gone up in flames. Not just the States, all over the world are those demonstrations. What sparked these demonstrations? An individual who unfortunately was murdered cold-bloodedly while begging, "I can't breathe. I can't breathe." And he was choked to death, or whatever the term is going to be. Air. We need air. We're begging for air. Let us try to put this into perspective, especially on the teachings of the Baal Shem Tov, that everything is by divine providence. Nothing happens just by accident. And there's got to be a correlation between the fact of the COVID-19 lack of air and the present demonstration about demanding air. And in particularly according to the teachings of the Rebbe, where the Rebbe told us in 1991 and 92 that we are living the moments of redemption. And everything which happens in the world is all part of that process of redemption. Where does this fit in? So yesterday we spoke about the lack of it. Yesterday we spoke about the fact that the lack of leadership and the lack of morality and the request for change. So I want to focus on, or remind maybe, in the 60s, when the youth rebelled, the so-called flower generation rebelled against the establishment, where sociologists, educators saw it in a purely negative way, rejecting the norms of society, rebelling against the values of society. The Rebbe said, indeed, they are rebelling and they are rejecting. But what are they rejecting? They're rejecting the frivolous dimension of society, the materialistic pursuit of society. The youth is looking for some meaning, some value, some purpose, some spirituality in their lives. And that's what they were rejecting, and that's what they were rebelling. And the Rebbe says, we need to garner this. We need to direct this. We need to channel this in the proper direction. And that's when the Rebbe started opening the Chabad houses, of giving meaning to this youth of then, and some purpose. My friends, that's what's happening today. Air is the first thing that a baby needs when it's born. It's gasping for air. But what kind of air do we want to give it? Do we want to give it polluted air? Or do we want to give fresh, pure air? The Rambam, when the Rambam describes the time of Mashiach, the time of redemption, in Hilchas Melachim, in the Laws of Kings in chapter 12, and the Rambam says those words, and I'll translate. In that era, there will be neither famine, no war, no envy, competition, because good will flow in abundance, and all the lights will be freely available as dust. It will be a time of no jealousy, of no hatred, no bigotry, no anti-Semitism, no racial divide. What are the demonstrators screaming? And I will say the majority of them. Unfortunately, there's always those anarchists, there's always those opportunities that have to bring out the negativity in everything. But the great majority, what are they requesting? We can't breathe. We can't continue breathing this air of destruction. We cannot continue breathing this air of corruption. We want equal justice. We want a world free of prejudice. We want a world free of bigotry. We don't want jealousy. We don't want violence, especially by those who are supposed to represent and assure that no violence should happen in this world. My friends, the world is screaming out for one thing, one simple word, Moshiach. May God hear it and send it to us right now.